Okay. Now, first of all, thank you so much for your time on weekend and a long weekend and Sunday evening. Thank you so much for your time. In today's session, we'll talk about why you need Azure and Fabric for Power BI developers. Most of your Power BI developers here, you know what are the challenges you're facing. You get the data and you do the report. And why is that you need Azure and Fabric as part of your day-to-day work? Now, that is something which we'll do as a part of demo today. I'll be walking you through the very high level. What is the role of Fabric and Azure for the Power BI developers? To start with, as and then I always want to start the session with problems. And then finally, I'll try to give solution for that. And let's see the problems in the traditional computing, like what are the challenges that we are facing with Power BI as well. And finally, we'll see Azure as the solution. And at last, we'll talk about a new word called Fabric. Now, just before I proceed, can you tell me what is the meaning of fabric? An English word, fabric. Just browse it. Chat GPT, Bard is there. Just browse it. What is the meaning of fabric?
Just like a
Designing.
cloth.
It's basically a
Designing.
design.
Mm,
Okay, let me tell you one thing. Fabric is actually, if you start browsing it, you'll get the meaning as a cloth, a piece of cloth, right? But I don't know. I've checked with Microsoft team. What made them to give this name? It's just actually what do you say that? It's not any specified meaning. Randomly, they have kept this name as fabric. But the internal meaning of fabric is if you take a piece of cloth, what is there in a piece of cloth? There are thread, right? Multiple threads stitched in a proper way. We call it as a cloth. So if you take a simple cloth and if you start pulling one by one by one by one thread, it becomes like a thread, correct? A group of threads becomes like a cloth. Now, what is this thread? It is very much important to connect your clothes pieces, correct? Now, a similar meaning is being given to fabric. Fabric is being given the name just because it can interconnect all the other tools, right? Now I'll be walking you through the fabric, but at this point of time, I just wanted to tell you the name. The fabric is given as a name. I mean, not exactly as a meaning, but what as a team we have decided is, yes, it's interconnecting all the small thread. That is nothing but your fabric. Now let's see how in a technical world, this fabric is going to be part of our interconnecting tools, right? Now to start with, I keep saying this right from 2015, and right from 2015, I'm teaching Power BI. I'm also waiting for the day where Power BI goes to a second place, but it's not happening, right? Right from 2016 and 17, Power BI is actually ruling the BI technology, being one of the most efficient and cost optimized reporting tool. And for the last 7 years, I've been seeing that Power BI is always on top. I've still taken 2023 report, the Gartner's report. We haven't got 24. I'm waiting for 24. Maybe end of February or the early March, we have to get the report from the Gartner. And there is no surprise, you will still see Microsoft Power BI being on top, right? Now, this Power BI reports is so beautiful that it can do everything for us. It can pick your raw data and it can start helping us in converting this raw data into insights. We know that there are four internal components that is helping us to build a report, right? So start with, we have Power Query, which is so good that you can do all your text transformations, number transformations, date transformations. You can start adding new columns. And if you want, you can write your custom logics as well with the M language. So beautiful, right? And if you see, that's the main component which is helping us in preparing our data cleaning, data transformations, right? Followed by, if you want to do some data modeling in terms of all the star schema, snowflake schema, of course, it comes again part of the Power Query. But if you see, on a whole, we have Power Pivot, which is also responsible for your data modeling. And the other two, we know that one is for data visualization and one is for report sharing. Now, all in all, these are all the components of Power BI, but mainly we'll focus on Power Query, which is responsible for data cleaning and data transformations, right? Now, Currently, what is happening in the market, if you talk about only Power BI reports, if you're talking about only Power BI reports, the existing Power BI architecture, you pull your data from your on-premises. It could be from your SQL files, Excel files, JSON files, and even if it is coming from on-prem SQL server, we connect it via Power Query. We connect it via Power Query. In Power Query, we start doing all the data transformations, data cleaning, and we make sure that everything is being prepared at the Power Query editor level. And then we are pushing it back to Power BI datasets. And from Power BI datasets, we know that we can start building our own report, start writing all our measures, etc., etc. We'll not talk about that, but we'll talk about the initial layer, getting the data from the on-prem and organizing it well. Who is taking care of it? The great Power Query editor, right? Now, Power Query editor is responsible for pulling off all of your records and working on the transformation layer. Now, with this, what is happening is, if you're getting the data from your Excel or CSV files, they have some limitations. They have some limitations. What are those limitations? Your Excel files can hold up to just 1 million, up to 10 lakh records. If you're taking about an SQL server, or if I'm talking about the Oracle, it can hold up to 5 GB. And the most popular MySQL, it can hold up to 1 GB. And Excel, 1 million, which is nothing but 10 lakhs, right? Now, everything has a limit here. Every data source which you're seeing here, everything has a limit. By chance, if I'm exceeding the limit, for example, there is an Excel sheet which has 1 million and there is another million data which I'm getting, the only possibility is to break down this Excel into two Excels and then bring it to your target. That's what we do, right? So we cannot store the 20 million or 30 million records in a single Excel file, not possible. So if you consider all this source, everything has a limitation. Everything has a limitation, right? Now, how to handle this? How to handle this? In reality, we have some limitations, but imagine I'm getting a 2 terabyte of data. Imagine I'm getting 2 terabyte of data. Okay. Now let me show you one sample report. Let me show you one sample report. This is a sample report. This is basically a KSR summary report. Like, for example, you have all joined this course. Somewhere the other way, you would have seen our poster, right? Maybe you would have seen in the LinkedIn or a WhatsApp, or you could have seen in Telegram. Wherever you have seen, that's why you're today sitting in this session, correct? Now, we are tracking the internal report. And just to tell you, even KSR is using Power BI reports. A startup company is using a Power BI reports, then what is the scope of all the companies using Power BI reports? Yeah, just do a mind calculation that how many companies are using this. If you see here, we have some report like what are the students, how many students have got offered, who are the top 3 highest package students, right? And from which state or city that we do have, and every batch, like every month, how many students has been getting registered. Now all this, it's basically a KSR summary report, right? Now in this entire report, what we have done is the data of the entire KSR students is present in my local machine, which is in my laptop, and my laptop size is 1 terabyte, and I'm maintaining that KSR data in my system. And from my system, I'm pulling it to Power BI reports, and you already know how you can pull it. Just go here, click a Excel workbook, and you can import your Excel workbook. Where is this Excel workbook? It is present in my local machine. So I can easily import all the KSR information and I can start doing the report. But in reality, do you think we can maintain in Excel? Not possible, right? Now, what's a solution? Let's see what is a solution. Today, KSR data, we have around 14,000 students who have been trained in KSR. And this 14,000 students record, if you see, including all the date, I mean, all the information, personal information, offer information, where they come from, all this information, if you gather it, imagine it is coming up to 1 terabyte, right? So who is managing KSR data? As of now, I am managing in my laptop. So my laptop cost is one laptop, 1 lakh. So the complete KSR expense in managing your data is 1 lakh. That's because it's my cost of my laptop. Okay. Now imagine tomorrow we are also getting multiple students. Most of the students are getting offered. So it goes on. And if the data is increased to 10 terabyte, 10 terabyte, what is my solution is, can I store this 10 terabytes in 10 laptops? Can I do that? Can I store 10 terabyte in 10 laptops? Each laptop is 1 terabyte. Can I do that?
No, sir.
Of course,
No, sir.
Why?
can.
No, sir. No, sir.
So don't you
Yes.
think KSR is having 10 lakhs?
You have additional external hard disk.
External hard disk, again, I have to connect to one of the other system to go and see the data, right? So my first choice will always be a laptop. I am going to buy 10 laptops to maintain 10 terabyte for KSR. Who says that this is a right solution? Who are saying that no, this is not the right solution?
No.
No.
Why?
Right solution.
KSR is not worth of 10 lakhs?
Any particular person difficult.
I'm sorry, your voice is very low.
No, if
If only
there is
particular
a,
person
if there
recommending
is no
something very
Azure solution,
difficult.
then we have to go for like this only, 10 laptops.
Okay, very good. So I want to store 10 terabyte of data in KSR. Obviously, I'll go over 10 laptops. Okay, so it's going to be 10 lakhs now. So 10 lakhs, maybe it could be a small amount if you're talking about a startup or a company. Tomorrow, it turns to 100 terabyte. Now we have to spend 100 lakhs. What is 100 lakhs? 1 crore. Do you think KSR will spend 1 crore to manage your data?
No.
No.
Do you think if you have 1 crore, KSR will take out all of your data and store it? Definitely no, right? If they have 100 lakhs, why will they run a business, right? Now, the first thing which you need to understand here is we need to figure out how can we handle this? How can we handle this, right? Now, the way the data is keep on increasing, we are just talking about in terabytes, but we have almost touched zettabyte, and I've just calculated till 2020. If you see 2022 or 2025, it has almost reached 80 gigabytes, right? So the data that has been touching by 2024 is 80 gigabytes. Now we are talking about terabytes in KSR, right? But if I'm talking about in reality, the data will keep on increase from terabytes to petabytes, petabyte to exabyte, exabyte to yottabyte. So where can I store all this data? Now, in order to handle this, now we are actually moving on to a challenges what we can have if you're storing in the on-prem. I'm storing all this in my 10 laptops. What is the challenges I can get here? The first challenge, definitely scalability. How many systems you can buy? If you're buying 10 laptops, do you think I can use 10 laptops? Even Ravana has only 10 heads only, not 10 hands, right? So when even he cannot use 10 laptops, where about our normal people, correct? So scalability becomes a major challenge if you're working with a data which you have multiple servers, multiple Excel files, or multiple systems. It's impossible for us to use all at a time. So it becomes a challenge. Now, even in that case, let's say that I give 10 laptops to you people, you're all my friends, you're all my colleagues. I'll say, hey, people, just keep these laptops. Whenever I ask, pull out some record and give it. Okay, let's say you people work for me. Maybe 1 or 2 days you'll work for free. After that, you'll also start demanding salary, correct? Now, imagine I want to buy a license for you. You will never spend from your pocket. I need to sponsor the software for your laptops, because you can say that for your work, why I should spend from my pocket. So you'll never even sponsor the softwares. So I have to spend. If something goes wrong in your laptop, I have to fix that. Maybe you have a power issue. Maybe your fan is not working in your laptop. So all these issues, I need to take care of it because it's our company and I've given you the 10 laptops for you, right? You 10 people. So there is high likely chance that I have to have more expense. I have to pay you salary. I have to make sure that I give the money for your licensing. Everything is there. And suddenly if you switch off your system, switch off your mobile and sit, data loss. And if I call you to get some data and your cousins will be using your laptop, where is my data security? KSR data, I'm in Bangalore and you people are in Hyderabad and you people are seeing the data. Where is data security? All this becomes a challenge when I'm storing the data in on-prem. Where is on-prem? It could be in my local server, or it could be in my system, or it could be in any of the database on-prem servers. Now, in order to overcome all this, one of the solution that we have is cloud computing. One of the solution that we have is cloud computing. Okay. Now, What you can do with this cloud computing is they are going to help us in solving all the problems and challenges that what we have in this slide. Okay, so whatever the challenges we have, all this your cloud is going to be helpful. Now question comes to you is why Power BI is not able to handle this? We already have Power BI, which is when I say best, it should do all the work, correct? Now, maybe just a coincidence example. Today, India versus England, we had the first test match, okay? And India lost the test match, correct? The number one test bowler is from India, who is Ashwin. The number one all-rounder is from India, Jadeja. Why did India lost the match? These two people are the top rank both in bowling as well as all-rounder. Why did India lost? We cannot expect everything to be done by these two people. Just because Ashwin is a number one ranked bowler, we cannot put burden on him. Just because Ravindra Jadeja is a top all-rounder, we cannot put a burden on him. The same problem that what we are facing with the Power BI as well. It's an excellent tool. I've been telling this right from 2016, 17, 18, 19, 24. Also, I'm telling you, one of the best business intelligence tool in the market is Power BI. But just because it is the best, I don't want to overload it. I don't want to overload it. If you overload it, the entire tool will collapse. Everyone has a limitation. Okay, everyone has a limitation. Let's talk about one balloon. You have a balloon. You start blowing the air in the balloon. Do you think the balloon will go bigger, 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 and keep on growing bigger? Definitely no. At one point, it attains a threshold. The moment it attains a threshold, the balloon will burst. Right? The balloon will burst. Now, we don't want that to happen to Power BI as of now. It's a tool which is a best tool which is doing everything for us. Just because it is doing everything for us, we don't want to burden it. I am telling you, even now, there are a lot of solutions within Power BI only which can still handle your data, which is coming in a very huge number, but we don't want it to burden it. Okay. Now, what is the alternative for this? What is the alternative for this? Now, in Power BI also, we started getting some challenges. As and then you're pulling the data from your SQL server, your Power Query is also burden. It is not able to do the lot of transformation. Okay. And since you're doing a lot of transformation, it also has to take care of multiple things. It also take care of the on-prem SQL server. So it becomes an investment cost for us, maintenance cost. And you need an extra IT support because all of your systems has to be a premium version, right? So what is the limit of data modeling in Power Query? Anyone? Any Power BI developers here? What is the limit?
1 GB.
1 GB. 1 GB is in Pro, correct? But it comes with a very super engine, which is called Vertipack engine, which can even compress it, right? So 1 GB is still a huge number if you're taking a compressed data, but it's not sufficient for your working with big data, right? Now, all these are the challenges that we are currently facing. And all in all, 9 out of 10 clients in our company are coming up with an issue called my reports are slower. My reports are slower. Every now and then we are getting a complaint from our client saying that my reports are not loading properly. My reports are not loading properly. The reality is the data is increasing. Your Power BI is not able to handle it. It's still coming. The reports are still coming, but it's coming as a slow, right? So my clients don't have patience, just like humans don't have patience. My clients are just opposite to that. They completely don't even wait for 5 seconds. They want everything immediately. Correct? Now, all this becomes a challenge. So we thought, why can't we delegate some work to others? Right? I cannot do every work. So let me hand over some work to some other tool. And that is where we introduce something called cloud computing. Rather than buying 10 laptops, why can't we store some data into a cloud? And we have four famous cloud services, starting with AWS, Azure, GCP, and UI. And of course, I'm going to choose one is just very compatible to Microsoft. Power BI is a Microsoft product. Azure is also a Microsoft product. So as in all, I'm just trying to connect the dots between the Microsoft products. So we are going to choose Microsoft Azure for our helping hand, right? So Power BI can do everything, but still I don't want to overload it. Let me dedicate some works to another tool that is called Microsoft Azure. Now, why we are going with cloud? Of course, it gives you every flexibility for us. Okay, you can access the data any point of time, and you can start using it in terms of recovery and backups. And if you want to use it as part of any of the services, if you want to use, you can use it, right? So cloud becomes a one-stop solution for every of your problem. And the good thing is you need not do any of the work. Like you need not install the softwares, you need not take care of the maintenance, you need not get trained, you need not upgrade it, you need not download all the patches. All is you need not even handle, your cloud will handle it by itself. All in all, you just need to pay some extra money, they'll take care of it. Now this become a solution for us. Now slightly, if you see the architecture diagram, we are going to have a architectural change here. Now in between, I'm going to introduce a Azure. I'm going to introduce Azure. The reason is, of course, I don't want to overload it. In order to come up with this burden, I'm trying to make use of a cloud service which is called Azure, right? Now, as we were talking about the cloud computing, and one we are going to learn is Azure. And if you see Azure, it's a cloud computing platform and it's an online portal. You go and request for any number of servers, whatever storage you request for, everything you'll get it. Everything you'll get it. Okay, this is making our work more easier and it is reducing our burden, correct? Now, as and then everyone has their own birthday. So Azure's birthday is on February 1st. I think we are very much near to February 1st. And Azure is turning to be 14 years old. Okay, and one of the best cloud, I would say, but it's second largest because first goes to AWS. It's the second largest. Doesn't matter whether it's a first or second, as long as it can come up with your services, you can start using it. Correct. And in India, we call it as Nifty 500 or Nifty 50. And in US, we call it as a Fortune 500 companies. So 80% of the Fortune 500 companies are actually using your Azure as a cloud service, and as and then how much ever you use, you just need to pay for it, correct? Now, the reason why I'm going with cloud is I told I'll be buying 10 laptops, right? And the cost is 10 lakhs. And for 10 lakhs, I cannot use all the 10 laptops. I need to hire 10 people. And for 10 people, I need to pay salary, right? And still, is it going to be the best solution? Definitely no. Why? Because I have to pay them salary and also have to take a risk in terms of data security, data loss, maintenance, everything I need to take care. Spending that much money, still I need to take care of it. Correct? Now, all this we were thinking. Suddenly, one person came and said that you just give me 3 lakhs. You don't spend 10 lakhs. You just give me 3 lakhs. We'll take care of it. We'll take care of your servers. We'll take care of your storage. We will take care of everything. And we will completely manage your entire data systems. You just need give us 3 lakhs. Now, this was a very good help for us because rather than spending 10 lakhs and still having an issue, giving 3 lakhs to someone and getting all the help was really necessary. Okay. So recently I attended one of my cousin's marriage. Okay. So initially when 10 years back, right, I still remember. So whenever we have our close cousin's marriage, we'll be completely occupied. Okay. You just go to the dinner, just check if everyone has been served properly, welcome everyone, start arranging accommodation, get the people from your airports, railway station, bus stops, decorate all your house, just go and get some cake. All this you have to do it, right? I still feel that all my cousins marriage I was involved in such a way that I'll never be even part of a single photo. Every time I'll be completely occupied with the work. This time I just went for one marriage. Every relative is sitting everywhere, like they're calmly sitting seeing the marriage, and all the other works has been taken care. Yes, what is happening? Who is taking care of all this? They simply say that we have a marriage agency. I don't know what this marriage agency. They'll take care of everything, it seems. Right from catering to everything, right? Travel, accommodation, decoration, everything they'll take care of, it seems. You just need to pay money. And I felt this is an optimal solution because you need not struggle, right? You need not struggle. You can just enjoy the function and rest of the things will automatically take place. It's all because we have another set of team who is taking care of everything. The same solution we are using here. I don't want to jump into multiple things. What we are doing, let's do it. For managing the data, let's hand it over to someone else. And that is what even we are going to do. Why you need to buy 10 laptops, make it as a hectic? Why can't we give it to cloud? We just charge only 3 lakhs. Now, all this solution made us to introduce a new service in between, which is called Azure. Now, we do have so many services. You do have so many services, but you're not going to get all the services for your case. You go to a hotel or a restaurant, you will see 50 menus. Do you order all 50? No. Whatever you wish for, you order it, correct? So similarly, we have 200 services, and whatever the problems which you are facing, that is what we are going to use it. And the two main problems that we may face is like a storage and processing. In order to overcome this, I would definitely choose Azure services. Choose the services which can help you in storage. Choose the services which can help you in processing, right? Now with that, now a new architecture has been introduced. What is a new architecture? Getting the data from your local machines or the local servers or the on-prem server, I have introduced another layer in between, which we call it as Azure. And in Azure, basically, there are two things which you can do directly. Also, you can get it into your ADF and then do it. But in this case, what we have done, we have got the data, all the data into ADLS. ADLS stands for Data Lake. Okay, Azure Data Lake Storage, ADLS. So ADLS stands for Data Lake Storage. Now, this limit for data storage is unlimited. Unlimited. You can keep on pulling the data, it is still has capacity, right? So I don't know whether you have observed this gas balloon parachute. The gas balloon parachute will never explode. A normal balloon will explode, but if you have seen a gas balloon parachute, it will not burst. You just burn the gas and the parachute goes up, right? It will never burst. It's because there's an open space always, right? So here I'm going to use a storage which is going to be unlimited, and that unlimited is what? ADLS. And you know what? Whatever your Power Query editor was doing in your Power BI, now I am going to do it in Azure Data Factory. Whatever the transformations, what we were doing it in Power Query editor, now we are going to do it in Azure Data Factory. The reason, one and only reason is I don't want to overload my Power Query editor. That is why I'm trying to give that work to ADF. As simple as that. Okay, I don't want to take the overload. I'll try to give it to someone else. That is what I'm doing. Instead of doing all the transformations in Power Query Editor, because the limit is going to be just 1 GB, I don't want to put that burden. I'm going to give that to a Azure Data Factory. Now, from this Azure Data Factory, again, I can connect to all of my systems and then directly bring into Power BI datasets. Now, I'm actually eliminating the use of Power Query. Of course, I can still use it, but I'm trying to avoid using this. The exact Power Query option, what you're doing, now you can do it in Azure Data Factory. Now, that's what we will be doing as part of your Azure architecture. Okay, now I have one more problem. Though my solution is somewhat fixed now, right? Rather than doing everything in your Power BI and with the Power Query, I'm trying to come up with another solution now, introduction of Azure, which basically I can use two components. One is Azure Data Factory for the transformation and Azure Data Lake Storage for storing. And I'm able to reduce the burden of Power Query. Now, this is really good, but one challenge is, I'll give an example. I have a maid who comes to my house. You tell me what is the problem, okay? I'll give a layman example. What is the problem which I am facing in my house? Okay, and you tell me what is the problem you will face when you're using both. I have a maid who comes for like cleaning the floor and washing clothes, everything. Okay, let's say she comes. Uh, there is another maid who comes for cooking. Maybe I'll call it as chef. Okay. Now I have two maids. One comes for the cleaning and one comes for cooking. Now initially what I was doing is I had a single maid as a single maid. Okay. So she was only cooking. She was only washing clothes, everything. And she was only cleaning, everything she was doing. Okay. Within 1 month, she ran away. I asked, what is the problem? What happened? She told, you're very lazy. You're not doing any work. You are always inside your room and you're always speaking, speaking, speaking. If I have problem also, you're not listening. And if I have any salary also, you're not, you're not talking to me. Always you're sitting on room and you're not at all talking to me. So I'm going to leave. It's a overburden. This maid told me it's a overburden. I asked, what is a burden? Cooking also I should only do. That also you expect on time. Washing clothes also I have to put into a washing machine. Washing vessels also I have to do. So everything I have to do, where I can go? I also have only two hands. She shouted on me. She left. Now I came up with a solution. Hey, one maid means problem, right? Why can't I have a two maid? Why can't I have a two maid? One is for cooking and one is for all your other works. Now tell me, now tell me, from maid 1 to maid 2, what are the challenges I can face? Of course, I overcome the problem of burden. I was able to overcome the problem of burden. But if I say that there could be a one problem in managing the two maids, what it could be? Anyone?
Cost.
Uh,
Cost increasing.
Cost increase. Okay. What else? What else?
Time management.
Time management. Okay. Acceptable. Okay. Next.
Coordination.
Coordination. Okay. Very good. Next. Next. Okay. The main challenge which I faced is one person joined on first, one person joined on 15th. So have to make sure that I pay them well. I mean, first, every month of the first, I need to pay the salary for one person and I need to pay the salary for another person. And whenever when the maid is cooking, right, I cannot ask the other maid to come and clean it, right? She have to wait until the cooking is done. So the coordination, yeah, that's a problem. And the main thing is pricing. I have to pay for two people. I have to pay for two people. Okay. Now this is a, maybe let's say I was just paying 20,000. Now I have to pay 15 for this person, 15 for this person. So obviously my cost also increased. Azure is really a good solution for your problem. Because I don't want to overburden the one tool, I'm taking another service here, Azure service. 15,000 I can pay. A company which can afford, they will go for it. The company which they cannot afford, what they will do? What they will do? See, I can afford two maid, so I've taken two maid, one for cooking, one for cleaning. If the person is not afford to get a maid, what he will do? He will overburden it. He will overburden it, correct? Now, this architecture is really working in the real time for most of the companies who can offer the Azure services. They can pay for it. Now, the cost involved is I have to pay for Power BI license and I have to pay for Azure subscriptions. Two payment I need to do. Of course, if I'm having a good revenue and profit, I'll go for it. There are many companies who are still going with this type of solution rather than overburdening it. Rather than overburdening it, I am trying to get all the services to be splitted across the Azure and Power BI, and it's moving on. But the problem is I have to take care of two services. I have to take care of subscriptions. I have to take care of pricings. And for Power BI, though both are comes under Microsoft only. See, let me tell you, okay, if there are two strangers, the fight between the strangers may not be that big, but the two people who are inside the house, siblings, you will have a lot of fight between them, right? The biggest fight you will get for the known people only, not from the unknown people. You go in either a bus or a train, someone speaks at you and there is a clash, you just scold them and you move off, but you never keep on scolding them. But in your house, the fight is bigger for known people only. So though it's between a same company, Microsoft's Azure, Microsoft's Power BI, there is always some of the things which is not syncing properly. So security also, maybe I have to borrow it. Storage also, I need to borrow it. And all the data modeling, everything I have to borrow it. And your Power BI is using it, right? So there is always that I need of the other service. Without Azure, maybe I'm not able to work. We are into that stage now because I don't want to overburden it. And if I stop using Azure, my Power BI reports will go hampered. So I need to manage a system where I can have to not be over dependent on others. With that, with this challenge, you know what happened? This is a current architecture we are following. Data factory in the Azure is doing all the data cleaning work, and directly your Power BI is getting that and doing a reports. But I have to always dependent on others, right? As a Power BI, I have to depend on others. Pricing becomes increased. I have to make sure the subscription is being handled. Now everything I have to depend on the cloud. So Microsoft thought, why should I see? There will always be a dispute between your siblings, brothers and younger brother and elder brother. There will be disputes. So Microsoft thought, Microsoft is a parent now. Microsoft is a parent. Azure is an elder son. Power BI is a younger son. Okay. So what Microsoft is saying, let's stop the dispute. Let's not make sure one is dependent on the other. Let's make two independent solution for this. With that, they introduced a new update called Fabric. In order to make sure that each one is not dependent on each other, they introduced a term called Fabric. Fabric is less than 1 year old. It's less than 1 year old. May 23rd, 2023 was its birthday. And until October, November, it was still in a preview stage. And now companies have started using Fabric. Now, what is this Fabric now? What is this Fabric? Whatever your Azure was doing, now everything they have brought into a single tool, which we call it as Power BI Fabric, which is nothing but your Microsoft Fabric. Everything you can do it in one tool. I can simply call it as all in one. Now I don't need to use Azure here. I don't want to use Azure here. I don't want to use Azure here. What I can do here, I can bring everything into one architecture, which is going to be a fabric. And this fabric is going to be just 1 year old, which was launched in 23rd May. And we are yet to see the goodness of the fabric tool. But today we can come to a conclusion that it's able to provide everything. Okay, it was able to, it was still in the preview, but now we have started using it. We have already built 3 projects using Fabric in our company. And all in all, everything you can do it into a single tool. Now you need not include any Azure service. Azure was a good solution, but just because of the pricing, just because of all these features, we were able to come up with a fabric. Let me tell you one thing. It's not a one-day invention. Okay. I remember Fabric, the Microsoft started working Fabric from 2019. From 2019, they're working on this unified platform, and they were able to close this project by 2023. It's like building a metro. 4-5 years, they have taken time to come up with this entire platform. Now, by using Fabric, they're actually reducing the need of Azure here. So I need not go back, pay for 2 services. I can go only take one license, that is a Fabric license, which comes with all the intermediate tools. These are the tools. We can build a report, we can do the transformations, and we can make sure that we can automate it. We can build some data science models, we can do data engineering pipelines, we can build data warehousing, and we can make sure that real-time analytics. Everything you can do it with the help of Fabric. I can simply call it as all in one. Can simply call it as all in one. There is no need of including the cloud here. And you can see that it's a unified platform. It's a one-stop shop, and it includes some AI powered, like nowadays all the chat GPT, Bard, you know how artificial intelligence has been improving. And they also use artificial intelligence, which is called Copilot. You simply open an Excel, you just say, I need to calculate this. It can do for you. It can handle very much massive data and complex transformations. And most importantly, it is cost effectiveness. Okay. I keep getting this question. Okay. Whenever I'm talking about Fabric, I keep getting this question. When Fabric can do everything, okay, why we need Azure? Or when Azure can do everything, why we need Fabric, right? So the basic introduction of this is we wanted to be independent. We don't want to depend on each other. Azure can work as single standalone projects. Your Fabric can also work on standalone projects, right? Now, I'll tell you, think that your Azure is your parent and your Fabric is your child. Fabric is your child. Now I want to work with a project where I don't need vast service. I just need maybe data factory I need, maybe storage I need, maybe warehousing I need. If I'm doing a simple projects, where I need to give importance only for the report, my first choice will always be Fabric, because it has a limited service, but it can do everything. Rather than depending on the other tools, I can still do with this task, right? But if you're working with a very heavy projects, like you have to involve multiple services, make sure that you get the data properly, organize it, then you can always go with Azure. Both can do the same, but I will always be deciding based on the data I get. For a small projects, maybe I want to do some data cleaning, data transformation, reporting, I'll go with Fabric. Maybe for if I want to build a complex data pipelines where it has to be deployed into a production and your actual system have to use, then always Azure is going to be the main part. I can simply say Fabric is a subset of Azure. Fabric is a subset of Azure. Now, uh, my mom is a teacher. Okay. Now I've also become a teacher. Now, if I ask my mom to teach Power BI, she will never do it. She don't know how to teach Power BI, but I know how to teach Power BI. But if you ask a simple mathematics, teach trigonometry for or integration or differentiation, I don't know, but she teaches well. I'm subset of her. I'm subset of her. But depending on the use case, we divide the task. She can teach to schools and colleges. I can teach to IT people. End of the day, both are teachers, both are mentors, right? So Fabric is a subset of your Azure, which has certain service which can still do the same thing as your projects. And that is how it has become like a one-stop shop. It is still less than 1 year old. Remember that. It's still actually crawling. It has to walk, it has to run, it has to go for a sprint, then it has to succeed in the career. There is still a path, but this is one of the emerging technology in the recent times, because it's not a 1 day effort, it's not a 2 day efforts. They have literally taken 4 years to implement this. From 2019 they're working, and 2023 they have launched this, which is going to be one of the evergreen in future. It is still now a child. Compared to Azure, it's still a child. So we are teaching, Azure is teaching Fabric like, okay, you have this component, you can do this, you can have this, you can do this. Most of the features, if you see in Fabric, it will be still in the preview stage. Preview stage means it's still work in progress. There comes a time where you can always expect Fabric to be another Azure in the near future. It's still a child. Okay, let's say Azure is 14 years old, your Fabric is 1 year old. So this, it has to do all the work what Azure is doing. It will take some time. It will take some time. It cannot be immediately, right? If you expect your kid to play like a Virat Kohli, let's say Virat Kohli, I think Virat Kohli has a daughter, okay? Let's say Virat Kohli has a son. If you expect Virat Kohli's son to play like Virat Kohli, is it possible right away? No. But whatever Virat Kohli features, it kids also will have, right? Same thing. It's like a son, but yet to improve in the market. With that, we have these two components we'll be teaching as part of a new topic. People who already know SQL and Power BI can learn this, where you will know the need of Azure and Fabric to your existing role. Nowadays, you see a lot of Power BI developers, but they're not upgraded. So if you are trying to upgrade this, so definitely you will be able to learn this. People who already know SQL, people who already know Power BI, please join the batch from February 1st, 6:30 a.m. People who already know SQL and Power BI, if you want to upskill yourself on Azure and Fabric, you can join on February 1st. Okay. So people who don't know anything, but still you want to become a data analytics. And there will be another demo where I'll be walking from SQL. Why you have to learn SQL, then I'll be telling what is the importance of Power BI. And that batch starts on February 8th, evening 7 o'clock. Everything is in IST. So people who want to learn everything from beginning 0 to 100, where we will be teaching everything, please join February 8th. People who already know this, let's say you already know 50%. If you want to go to 50 to 100, you can join this. Okay. So today I've talked to you about the Fabric and the need of Azure and Fabric to your reports. That summarizes your demo. And this is the Fabric tool. So you can build your reports, you can start doing the ETL pipelines, you can schedule it, and you can use it as a data engineering, and we can also make sure that you build the data science modules. And at last, you can also come up with some real-time analytics. All in all, I can use everything here. But when compared to Azure, Azure is having 200 services. But here I mainly focus on the data related one, which is yet to become popular. But as of now, it becomes like a one-stop solution. Any questions?
Course duration?
The entire course, if you see, okay, it comes to 4.5 months. Okay. And if you want to learn only this part, it will take 1 month.
What about job opportunities?
Job opportunities, data analytics is always in demand. Okay. If you're like focusing on all these skills, data analytics, data science, data engineering, always in demand. So, but if you're like not updated, you may not get opportunities. If you say that I only know Power BI, it may not work. So nowadays, companies are expecting multi-skilled. So in the start of the class, I told, right, a lot of companies have started firing in 2024 also. The reason? Lack of skill. So tomorrow I have to log in, and like last Friday they have sent out an email in Microsoft, and tomorrow I have to log in. Do you think I'll be worried? Definitely no, because of the skills. So if you're top skilled, no one can even touch you. But in order to be the top skills, you have to know multi skills. So if you know multiple tools, job opportunities is always be there. Every company will have a retention like percentage, like a lot of people will keep on jumping and they have to fill the position, right? So irrespective of what is happening in the market, you will always have the demand. So you have to make sure that you upskill and you apply for the right role.
Okay, so once completing the course, what the assistance you are giving on your side, like from the KSR Datavizon?
We'll make sure that we cover all the latest technologies, like all in one. All the examples that what we do is like live examples. I'm honestly telling you, I'm not a trainer. I'm actually working employee in Microsoft. So what I'm doing you, that is what I teach. Okay. And 100 hours of training will be there. And in order to work with your Fabric, in order to work with your Power BI, you need license. You need a license. Without license, it may not work. So rather than saying this as an institute, I'll call it as a startup. So we are going to provide each and every one about the access, the organization access. And you can contact me over your Teams meet or your Google, your Outlook, and you can start conversation like what you do with your managers. And this credentials will be useful for your Fabric. We'll be working as a real-time projects. Apart from that, we'll make sure that we cover 3 projects. If you're joining from the beginning, I'm saying, okay, if you're joining from SQL, you'll be like doing 3 projects. But if you're joining only with Azure and Fabric, we'll still be doing 1 real-time project. Okay. And we'll help you with the interview guidance, resume preparation, soft skills, everything. Will make sure that you are skilled here. And who go over for this course, people who are looking for changing their role to visualization, definitely you can go for that. There is no coding required. Whoever having a good whoever having a career gap, it's a good opportunity for you. And those who want to switch from non-technical to technical, and a good opportunity for freshers. As I've told you, there are 2 things. The first thing is we are actually making sure that you join either from beginning, it's going to be 4.5 months course. If you're joining only from this, it's going to be 1 month course. And this type of splits is because people who already know Power BI, you can join ADF and the Fabric, where you will be upskilled. People who really don't know anything, you can always start from the beginning, which we will be teaching everything from scratch. And people who don't know anything, you can always reach us. We will help you in providing the demo for that. And February 8th, we are starting a new batch right from the beginning. You can join there. The assistance wise, I'll not promise you 100%. The reason, it's not about my efforts. I want you to put your efforts, assignments, task, projects, everything will be given to you. You should also work along with me. If I'm only I work, only I will grow. If you also want to contribute, you have to work with us. We have to contribute in the assignments. Then I can promise you 100% job guarantee.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, I work as a Power BI developer, senior Power BI developer. So I want to work now. I want to join Azure ADF and Fabric.
Okay.
So in this, what all it will cover course content?
We'll be covering Azure 3 services, like 3 to 4 services: Azure Block Storage, Azure Data Lake Storage, Azure Data Factory will be covering. And apart from that, we'll be focusing on Fabric. So in Fabric, we'll be like mainly working on the like data warehousing, and we'll be working on the analysis like Data Factory. So whatever is required for us, we'll be learning. So if I want to break the hours, it will be 15 hours for Azure, 15 hours for Fabric. So totally it comes to 30 to 35 hours of training in this both.
Okay, sir. But course content is already prepared, no, sir? If I want to
Course
join
content,
them.
yeah, course content is there. You can reach out to our team. Our team will share you, and you can find it in our website as well.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I have one more doubt.
Yes.
So in this course, we are considering only ADF and Azure Data Lake only, right? So we are not considering ADB.
I'll be giving an overview, but ADB requires coding. So I'll be explaining you the high level, but we will not be learning Python.
Okay.
So the classes will be from Monday to Friday, right?
The classes will be from Monday to Friday.
Okay, and the timings? 7 to?
If you're joining for this part,
Hmm?
okay, it's February 1st.
Yeah.
And it will be 6:30 a.m. 6:30 to 7:45 or 8.
Okay.
Okay. So if you want to join from the beginning, it's going to be from scratch.
Hmm?
That will be on February 8th, and
Okay.
it will be 7 p.m.
7 to 8, 8:30. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Fabric required a separate license, or Power BI Pro or Premium is enough for that?
For both, we have to give one more license for you. If you join the course, we will make sure that we will be given Power BI as well as Fabric. One license is enough to work on both.
Okay.
Sir, after completion of full course, will you be like giving certificates?
See, we will help you certificates, okay? But if you go
Okay.
and say that I have got the KSR certificates, they may not value you. You have to
Okay.
take a Microsoft certificate.
Okay.
Okay, but once you complete this course, I can promise you that you can clear the certification. Any other questions? Okay, with that, we'll stop here. Thank you so much for your time on weekend. And if interested, please reach out to our team. Our team can help you. Please give them a call tomorrow morning, and we should be able to solve all of your questions. Okay, thank you all.